The Reportable Food Registry, RFR, is an essential tool established by the FDA to protect public health. By requiring responsible parties to report foods that may cause serious adverse health consequences or death to humans or animals. Under Section 417D1A of the Federal Food, Drug, and Cosmetic Act, food manufacturers, processors, and packers must notify the FDA when they have reason to believe that their products are harmful. This regulatory mechanism helps the FDA respond quickly to food safety threats and ensures that necessary corrective actions are taken to prevent foodborne illness outbreaks and to mitigate risks to public health. Welcome to today's session on food safety regulations, focusing on the Federal Food, Drug, and Cosmetic Act, Section 417D1A. This part of the Food, Drug, and Cosmetic Act plays a crucial role in ensuring public health by regulating the handling and reporting of harmful substances in our food supply. In this session, we will break down the key provisions of the Food, Drug, and Cosmetic Act, Section 417D1A, and discuss how this impacts food safety protocols and practices. Let's dive in. The Reportable Food Registry under the Food, Drug, and Cosmetic Act, Section 417D1A, is a system through which the FDA requires certain responsible parties, such as food manufacturers, processors, packers, or distributors, to submit a report when they discover a reportable food. What is a reportable food? A reportable food is defined as any food other than a dietary supplement or infant formula that represents or presents a reasonable possibility of causing severe adverse health consequences or death to humans or animals. Section 417D1A specifically outlines responsibilities of food facilities when they determine they have manufactured, processed, packed, or held a reportable food. The section requires, number one, submission of a report to the FDA through the RFR within 24 hours of determining the food is reportable. Number two, immediate steps to notify the responsible parties within the supply chain, i.e. suppliers or downstream recipients of the potential harmful product. The RFR was established to improve the ability of the FDA to track and respond to potential dangerous food and helps prevent foodborne illness by ensuring rapid notification and removal of unsafe food from the market. So I think it's important when we look at the definition of severe adverse health consequences or death to humans or animals. SACODA is the acronym. The FDA definition is an outcome from an exposure to a product that can lead to serious harm or death, which includes life-threatening conditions, permanent or significant disability, hospitalization, or death. In food safety, it refers to products that, when consumed, cause severe health risk to humans or animals. So we need to determine if a food or product must be reported under the Reportable Food Registry, RFR. Some examples would be things like Listeria, Salmonella, E. coli. Those are known to cause severe adverse health consequences. The RFR is not commonly violated on a large scale, but there are instances where food facilities fail to comply with its reporting requirements. Non-compliance generally stems from a lack of awareness, inadequate internal controls, or failure to recognize when a food qualifies as reportable. Some violations occur due to, number one, delayed or incomplete reporting. Facilities may not submit reports within the required 24-hour period after identifying a reportable food, or they may fail to report it at all. The number two failure is the failure to notify the supply chain partners. Companies may neglect to inform their suppliers or downstream recipients about a potentially dangerous product, which can lead to further distribution of contaminated food. Number 3, improper hazard identification. Some facilities might not realize that a food hazard meets the threshold of reportable. So we need to have good education about what causes serious adverse health consequences or death from foods. While these violations can occur, they are generally detected by the FDA through inspections or audits. The FDA takes violations of the RFR seriously, and penalties can include recalls of an affected food or product, civil penalties such as fines, and even criminal charges if willful neglect is demonstrated. Many companies proactively work to comply with the RFR to avoid these consequences. However, non-compliance does happen, especially when facilities are non-diligent and monitoring food safety, hazards, or ensuring timely reporting. Ensuring compliance involves proper staff training, strong internal safety protocols, and have an effective reporting system in place. This was established under the Food, Drug, and Cosmetic Act, Section 417. The purpose was to streamline the reporting of unsafe foods that may cause serious health risk. The goal is to ensure prompt reporting and removal of dangerous foods from the supply chain to protect public health. Who does it apply to? Well, food facilities that manufacture, process, and pack or hold food, excluding dietary supplements and infant formula. So what can trigger reporting? Well, it's the determination of the reasonable possibility that a food product could cause serious adverse health consequences or death to humans or animals. And it's based on a thorough risk assessment. The key factors that define this include the nature and severity of the hazard. So we got to understand the different types of hazards that could contaminate this type of food, that play a significant role in this type of food, historical information related to that. For example, the presence of harmful pathogens like Listeria, Salmonella, or E. coli, or toxic chemicals and allergens that can lead to serious health consequences. If the product is widely distributed, that means it's more likely that vulnerable populations such as children, elderly people, and immunocompromised could consume some of these products. If it's widely distributed, then that means large quantities may be consumed, and it's likely to cause harm and increase the likelihood of that. So we want to make sure we understand if there's any historical evidence or documentation of illnesses or cases similar to contamination from ingredients or products like the ones we're using, or from the hazards from the ones we're using. We're going to want to make sure we understand the nature of those and if they're like our certain scenarios. So we need to do our due diligence to understand things that can cause illness and cause scenarios where it would trigger a reporting scenario. Is it a reasonable possibility could occur? And so then we need to think about the concentration and the quantity. The level of the contamination is also critical. A small presence of a harmful substance may not pose the same risk as a large concentration or amount, which could definitely lead to severe adverse health consequences. And then we need to think about the product itself. Certain food products like raw or undercooked meats, seafood, dairy, and fresh produce are more prone to contamination and may require special handling. If these products are not stored, processed, or transported under safe conditions, they can become hazardous. In addition to human risk, the product's potential harm to animals is considered. For example, contaminated pet feed, pet food, could cause severe illness or death to pets or animals, prompting a recall and a reasonable possibility if the harm exists. When these factors indicate that a food poses a significant risk, the product is subject to the Reportable Food Registry under the Food, Drug, and Cosmetic Act, or a recall to prevent it from causing harm to consumers. Regulatory authorities such as the FDA work with companies to assess the risk and initiate the appropriate measures to remove the product from the market if necessary. The required action is to submit a report to the FDA Reportable Food Registry within 24 hours and notify supply chain partners, suppliers, or downstream recipients immediately. Again, what is a reportable food? A reportable food is any food, excluding dietary supplements or infant formula, that presents a reasonable probability, that's not a high standard, of causing severe health consequences or death to humans or animals. This term is part of the regulatory framework aimed at protecting public health by ensuring dangerous foods are swiftly identified and removed from the supply chain. The Reportable Food Registry is designed to streamline reporting, enabling faster corrective actions. Common triggers for reportable food, again, are contamination from pathogens, contamination from things like Salmonella, E. coli, Listeria. Salmonella can contaminate things like poultry and eggs or undercooked meats. Listeria is ubiquitous, often found in unpasteurized dairy products, soft cheeses, deli meats. It can be especially harmful to pregnant women and newborns and with people with weakened immune systems. E. coli is a big one. It's found in contaminated beef, raw vegetables, unpasteurized products. It can lead to severe illnesses, particularly to vulnerable populations like young children and elderly. Adulteration with chemicals or allergens. Chemical contamination can result from improper handling or cross-contamination during food production and processing. Pesticides and heavy metals, which can cause long-term health issues and sometimes short-term issues. Unapproved food additives are a big deal, and undeclared allergens like tree nuts, peanuts, milk, soy, eggs, wheat, fish, shellfish. Those are a few. Got 9 of them. Make sure you know about proper labeling. If it's improperly labeled and the people won't know what's in the food, this could lead to severe adverse health consequences. Make sure that misleading or improper labeling isn't happening. That could lead to severe adverse health consequences. The Reportable Food Registry requires immediate reporting of foods that present a reasonable risk of severe adverse health consequences or death. The swift identification and removal of these products from the market minimizes the risk to human health. Let's make sure we get timely reporting, make sure others know, so that we can prevent foodborne illness, reduce recalls, and protect consumer and animals from harmful exposure. All right, here's where things get a little bit tough. We got to make sure that we identify the hazard and take immediate internal action. So it involves conducting a prompt internal testing and investigation to confirm the presence of the hazard. And then we need to make sure we identify the specific contamination. Is it biological? Is it chemical? Is it physical? We need to make sure that we clearly understand the nature of the hazard and then understand what are good strategies for preventing, eliminating, reducing it so we can prepare for further steps. Make sure that you report to the FDA. You have your RFR submission that you're going to need to do using the FDA's online portal. I'll have a link in the description here available for you for that. Ensure the report is complete, accurate, including all necessary details about the product, the contamination, the risk. Remember, the report has to be filed within 24 hours identifying the hazard to comply with FDA requirements. Make sure you notify the supply chain, the receivers, the suppliers. So make sure, again, upstream, downstream from you, we're letting them know that the potential contamination or the contamination about the product. Make sure you share information about what contamination is, what the product is, product codes, labels, things like that, whatever you can, as much information as possible. And the goal, again, is to prevent further exposure. Provide information, get the food out of the supply chain, and then swiftly get it removed so that we can ensure safety of the public. So we want to make sure that if it's necessary, the product is recalled and disposed of as necessary. And then we want to make sure, of course, that we go through our whole root cause analysis, determine what happened. What did we mess up as? Was it the initial hazard analysis? Was it implementing a plan or a food safety program? We want to make sure that we go back and fix that. Fix the food, fix the process, and then try to get things in place to prevent it from happening again. It's important that we have some steps in organizing this. You can keep this for further review. So what if we don't report? If we fail to report? Well, there are potential civil and criminal penalties. So failure to report, of course, could get you, a citation, and citations usually lead to fines. So these are things you want to avoid, hopefully. But the biggest deal is we're preventing the removal. We're preventing the likelihood of getting the word out by doing it. But of course, again, there's fines, penalties, injunctions, restrictions, or even shutdowns by a regulatory authority for noncompliance. So the FDA may enforce a mandatory recall. More than likely, you're going to go ahead and do a recall out of abundance of caution. If a recall is initiated, it can be very costly. Recall can, of course, cause significant reputation damage. Right? Consumers will have lack of trust in your brand. So you want to make sure you understand the effects of failure to do these things. Loss of market share is painful. So again, that goes with your reputation. Failure. FDA still uses some strategies ancient man used to use, a little humiliation technique by reporting your failures online through the World Wide Web. So timely reporting ensures that contaminated, unsafe food products are identified, removed before they reach the consumer, preventing potential illness and fatalities. Obviously, it will also protect your brand, your business, and the consumer. So proactively addressing food safety issues helps maintain consumer trust and reinforces company commitment to quality and safety. Timely compliance reduces the risk to the public and scandals that may come with it, negative media attention. Again, that could damage you, your brand, your products. So again, let's make sure we have timely, accurate reporting to avoid legal repercussions such as fines, criminal liability. Compliance also demonstrates the company's dedication to food safety, to regulations, and to the public. So you need to have standards. You need to have specifications that you hold your suppliers, to, and then you need to regularly test products and environments to make sure that things are meeting those specifications. Hold them accountable. We should make sure we're again checking our environment, checking products, environmental monitoring, especially for ready-to-eat foods that have no further processing. They're exposed to the environment prior to packaging. So early identification of food safety issues helps minimize risk, prevent contaminated product from even reaching the consumer. We may get it out of the plant, but not actually to the consumer yet. So we want to make sure we have a strong traceability system. There's going to be some more videos coming up. Subscribe to my channel if you like this stuff. There'll be some videos coming up on traceability 2026. There's some big FDA traceability regulations coming out. So you're going to need a good traceability system in place for this particular program here, for the Reportable Foods Registry. So make sure you are working on that. Sure, traceability covers the raw material, the finished product, packaging, transportation. Got to look at everything. We want to have records that can track products forward, backward through the supply chain in case of any contamination. So what's the goal of all this stuff again? Minimize the impact, right? Keep people safe. Identifying contaminated products and getting removed from circulation swiftly. Training is going to be important. Making sure that everybody from the bottom to the top to the bottom is on board. Ensure all employees are thoroughly trained and knowledgeable about food safety, hygiene. Make sure that they're preventing contamination, cross-contamination, cross-contact. Training should cover the identification of reportable foods, especially with regard to understanding contamination, biological, chemical, physical, and the things that could or may or have happened to your products so that they can be aware and report those things for you. So it's important that we're constantly ongoing seeking to be more educated, have more understanding. So you should be conducting regular education seminars and refreshers to your staff. It'll help you get better. It'll help them get better. So employees should know about regulatory requirements. You should have internal protocol and policy procedures to ensure that you're following those. Make sure you empower your staff to act as the first line of defense. Make sure you give them authority to come and report things to you. It's going to be so important that you lift them up. So I just did a brief overview. Let's kind of wrap this thing up, put a bow on it for you. So the Reportable Food Registry is an essential tool in safeguarding public health. It ensures the rapid identification, reporting, and removal of unsafe foods that could cause serious health risks, or even death to humans and animals. So timely reporting helps the FDA respond quickly and reduce the risk of foodborne illness outbreaks, benefiting both the consumer and businesses. Compliance with the Food, Drug, and Cosmetic Act, Section 417D1A, is mandatory. So you want to make sure that you're prepared to do this if necessary. Failure to adhere can result in severe legal and financial consequences. We've talked about that. Proper adherence to this regulation is crucial for preventing serious foodborne illness and ensuring unsafe products are removed from the market quickly. Regular reviewing and updating your protocols can help business remain compliant and avoid penalties. Make sure you have consistent testing and seeking out for pathogens, allergens, and contaminants as a prevention methodology. Make sure you have a strong traceability system in place so you can quickly identify issues in the supply chain and get responses and recalls if necessary. Ensure immediate and accurate reporting so that you can protect both consumer and your business from costly consequences, both financially and in terms of reputation. By adhering to these best practices laid out for you, testing, traceability, timely reporting, business can safeguard public health and ensure regulatory compliance, while also protecting their brand, their business, and their market position. Good luck out there. Thank you for taking the time to come by and check out my video. Thank you for your attention. More information to come. For more insights on food law, food safety, make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'm going to get better at this. Stay updated with the latest food safety practices, regulation, and expert advice. Reach out anytime. Have a great day.